we need to create an object that will add folds to the curtain by sort of compressing it. And now it looks more realistic. If you spot wrinkles here and there, you can do the following. You can click, relax, see? And don't forget to do things like this to make your scene look more realistic. Hi guys, in this tutorial we're gonna model the curtains. And we'll head over straight to the perspective view and hide the window frame for our own convenience. Okay. And now the curtain is fully visible in the viewport. On direct view, we create a plane that will gradually transform into the curtain. So this is the basis of our curtain. We need to increase the number of segments. The more segments there are, the more detail will be the curtain folds. Now in perspective view, we rotate the plane by 90 degrees and position it here. Let's hide the pictures so that they don't distract us. We need to create an object that will add folds to the curtain by sort of compressing it. Now let's apply the cloth modifier. I shift it down a little bit. Okay. Now the modifier, in the settings, we check self collision and also uncheck solid collision box. Self collision is at 0, subsample is at 2, and we won't change any more settings here. Then we click object properties, and this is our object, plane 03. Select it and check cloth. So now our object has the properties of a cloth. And next we need to compress our cloth to a certain degree. And in order to do that, we're gonna use this box that we've prepared earlier. And let's add time slider. If you don't have it on, there it is. So I go to Corona camera, and what I do is I shift these two objects over to where they will be positioned after the compression. So the center of the object will be here. And so now let's animate this box. So we select the box, enable auto key, and go to a random frame, say frame 45, and enable transparency mode for the curtain and switch on to the pan zoom mode. Now we'll scale the box until it matches the curtain width in the reference image. Let's shift it a bit and pay attention that we're gonna do this in the same keyframe with auto key mode switched on. Once everything starts to look good, we disable auto key, and now we move the slider to make sure everything works. Great, the box scales the right way. Next we need to attach this cloth to this box. And we go to perspective view, select the cloth object, and click group in the drop down list. Now we need to create a group of points that will be attached to this object. Select the upper strip of points and group them. Now let's stick with its default name, group 01. Now we need to link this group to our box, and we click node and then hit the box. And be sure to click precisely on the box. Alright, that's done. Now let's switch to this view and click Simulate. Like that. And we can see that simulation has started. Its speed depends on your computer performance. See? Our box is being compressed. The groups of cloth points that are attached to the box are being compressed as well. When the compression reaches its final value, the cloth will continue to straighten out. The simulation will go on at a certain point when the cloth starts to match the reference, or at least to look realistic. We'll click Cancel to stop the simulation. If we don't do that, simulation will stop automatically after reaching the last frame. Look at the timeline, and the last frame is number 100, so it will probably stop there. But we won't wait that long. We'll simply click Cancel, and that's it. The curtain has been generated. Now let's switch to Corona camera to see how the curtain looks. And it looks pretty good, I should say. I won't make any more changes. This blackness is the backside of the polygons. It will look good in the render. So now let's convert the curtain to editable poly. And if there are some details that you don't like, you can apply the Turbo Smooth modifier. And now it looks more realistic. If you spot wrinkles here and there, you can do the following. You can click Relax. See? The cloth has become smoother. Click it again, and we apply Turbo Smooth. And it starts to look even more realistic. Alright, copy the curtain here. And now there are two curtains in the scene. Now, pay attention that I use the copy command and not instance, in case I need to modify each curtain individually. So basically, this is how we make our curtains. And we can also add a curtain rail. We can make the curtain rail out of a basic cylinder or a spline. On top view, we disable auto grid, and keeping shift pressed, add a spline. Let's center it. Now, in perspective view, we'll lift it to the very top. Then enable spline rendering by checking enable in render and enable in viewport. And set the thickness. Let's make it 24 millimeters. So this detail will make everything look more realistic. And as a finishing touch, we're gonna add rings to the rail. A small number of rings. Let's switch to direct view and add a circle and set thickness to 10. Put the spline right in the center. And now we go to perspective view to see if the ring looks good. Okay, it looks like we need to reduce the radius. And now it looks better. And then we select these two elements and shift them down. Let's make several copies of the ring. Rotate them in a random way. To the left, to the right, and so on. And we need to modify just a few rings. And afterwards, we're gonna make their copies. Put the rings with the same distance of each other. And don't forget to do things like this to make your scene look more realistic. Now convert rings to editable poly and attach them. And be sure to do this very carefully. Now, keeping Shift pressed, we copy this detail here. Now we switch to viewport to see if we need to make any more improvements. Well, looks pretty good. The rings seem too big though. So let's go to side view and scale them down. Simply by using scale tool to diminish the rings along the X and Y. Shift them a little, and the curtain rail as well. Alright, it's done. Now we've modeled the curtains. This is what they look like. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.